Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. And today is Taco Tuesday.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. It's raining tacos out in the street. Tacos, all you can eat. Lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining tacos. Yum, 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 yummity yum. It's like a treat.
Oh, that's right, folks. Today is Taco Tuesday, where we celebrate America by celebrating, well, what has to be one of America's favorite foods. At least it's one of my favorite foods. It's basically, anyway, I love tacos. I never get enough of them. Taco Tuesday is one of my favorite days of the week, but also part of it is, I kind of enjoy the song. I don't know. Call me corny, call me cheesy, but I very much enjoy that song. So anyway, thank you, folks, for joining us today. Mike is doing his civic duty today out volunteering, so unfortunately he's not going to be with us today. But that doesn't matter because we've got me and you. We've got us together here. We're going to be talking about, well, whatever we're going to be talking about on today's show. But suffice it to say, we're going to be doing it together. So here's what you do. If you're watching us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Restream, if you're watching us on Rumble, do me a favor. Go ahead and comment. Let us know what you think of the program. As I have an opportunity to check out your comments, then I'll, if I like what you have to say, I'll go ahead and I'll talk about it on the program. So go ahead, let your comments flow. Go ahead and let them flow. Look forward to hearing from you today. Now, before we get into the show today here on Taco Tuesday, we have to do the obvious, and that is we got to start with a quick shout out to our sponsors. We're going to start with Hitman Industries. If you are looking to do a brand new build, maybe you're looking to assemble your own firearm, or maybe you're looking to just rebarrel your current firearm, go to hitmanindustries.net, and when you go there, you'll find rifle and pistol caliber barrels. Go there, check them out. And if you are a first responder, never bought from them before, then you can get a discount. So check them out today. Once again, hitmanindustries.net. Then you've got the California Republican Assembly working to help elect conservatives to all levels of government, from school board all the way up to President of the United States. Check them out today. Just go to cragop.org, cragop.org. If you want to be a part of California's future today, join CRA. Next, we've got Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces, and you can get a holster today. And trust me, they've got inside the waistband, outside the waistband. They've got the best in concealed carry as well as tactical holsters. So check them out once again, hogholsters.com. Finally, the spot to go for outdoor gear. That would be uscombatgear.com. They have a phenomenal selection. They have fast shipping. They have great prices. And they have all things tactical except for the gun. So just hit them up, uscombatgear.com. All right. Well, yesterday we talked a little bit about the butcher of Tehran who, lost his life. Folks, they took him out. I won't say. I keep saying they took him out. And someone made this point yesterday, and I'll be correct today. So someone took exception yesterday because he used the term "killed," right? Because he was killed in a helicopter crash. And I said, well, technically that is correct, but they said it made it sound like someone took him out. And I said, well, okay, well, we don't know that you don't know that the crash wasn't an accident. We do know that it was an old rickety helicopter, and they were flying in the mountains in the fog. So they probably were destined to run into something. In any case, he bit the big one, needless to say, world leaders all over the world, folks all over the world, were recognizing and acknowledging his passing. Interestingly enough, though, um, Joe Biden, the Biden administration, our president of the United States, decided that he was going to send his condolences. Excuse me for a second. He decided he was going to send his condolences for the death of. Well, anyway, I'll read the story here. This is being reported at the Washington Free Beacon. Biden administration sends Iran condolences after mass murderer president killed in helicopter crash. The Biden administration on Monday sent official condolences to the Iranian regime following a weekend helicopter crash that claimed the lives of its hardline president and foreign minister. Quote, quote, the United States expresses its official condolences for the death of Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi, Foreign Minister Hussein Amir Abdulumani, I think it is, anyway, and other members of their delegation in a helicopter crash in northwest Iran, end quote. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller said in a statement. As Iran selects a new president, we reaffirm our support for the Iranian people and their struggle for human rights and fundamental freedoms. It says here, Raisi, a longtime hardliner who was close to Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, was known for leading chants of death to America during public events in Iran. In February, during a rally in which onlookers burned American and Israeli flags, he slammed the U.S. for supporting, quote, the Zionist regime's crimes against humanity in Gaza. Continuing the quote, I say to the enemies, you want to hear the word of the people? These are the great people of Iran, Raisi said, was quoted as saying, as the crowd chanted death to America and death to Israel. And we sent our condolences to Iran to let them know how bad we feel about his death. Wow. I don't know that there is an accurate way or a really effective way to put this, but what they should have done was mentioned how we are celebrating this individual's passing because he has brought such pain and such division, not just to the region, but quite frankly to the world. The world is definitely a better place now that he has gone on to his maker, which I believe is Satan. And bye. All you guys say is bye. You know, select better. How about that? How about send that letter? How about send that letter to the leaders there in Iran? Choose better. Choose someone who actually is going to represent, who actually cares about the people of Iran. Because we know that he more than likely didn't. Someone who's interested in, I mean, if you want us to express condolences, then maybe you should have somebody who's actually worthy of being mourned. How about that? But our president of the United States of America, Joe Biden, now keep in mind, this is a guy who literally sucks up to our enemies and spits on our allies. I mean, this is the guy who will get up and praise and say all sorts of things about how we need to remember Israel and we need to support Israel, and then turns around and stabs them in the back. And he's done it more than once just in the last few months, whether it was supporting the resolution to end the violence in, or to basically tell Israel to surrender and allow Hamas to stay in power. That UN resolution, whether it was that one, or it was the day in which they were remembering the Holocaust Remembrance Memorial, giving this rousing speech about how much he supported Israel, and then turned around and withheld much needed military fortifications. he has done everything possible to make America look bad and to make one of our most staunchest allies think of us, to treat them like an enemy, and that's pretty much what he's done. He's treated Israel like an enemy, and by the way, just so you know, and I know you guys watch this, so I know you know this. The reason why I'm so focused on Iran, I'm talking about Iran in this case, is because what we're seeing right now going on in the Middle East, what we're seeing right now in particular going on in Gaza, that's a proxy war. Hamas is an agent of Iran. And in their eyes, Israel is not an independent nation. In their eyes, Israel is it's part of the U.S. And so they don't just see it as Israel. They see it as the U.S. And so, anyway, all that having been said, it is kind of sad that our government, that our president of the United States would be offering them condolences. I just think that's the height of stupidity. But I'm sure you do as well. All right, moving on to our next story. Now, this one was a trip because so during a speech, Biden made the comment that he said the last time that he was in Detroit, it was very busy because, the pandemic was going on and President Barack Obama sent him to Detroit to fix things. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, no, he didn't say that. Yeah, he did, and here it is.
And when I was vice president, things were kind of bad during the pandemic. And what happened was, Barack said to me, go to Detroit and help fix it. Well, poor mayor, he spent more time with me than he ever thought he was going to have to. God love you.
Okay, so if it were just this instance, if this were the only thing that we were ever talking about, that we weren't talking about anything else, then I wouldn't even trip over this, right? Most of the media wouldn't even trip over it, and they shouldn't trip over it, quite frankly. They shouldn't have any concerns about it. But this is not the first time. This probably wasn't even the first time he said something like that. It's definitely not the first time he said something like that this week. If there is ever evidence that Joe Biden is in no condition to continue on as our president of the United States, I would pretty much say that he's doing a pretty darn good job of proving that he's not qualified, that he is not in a position where he is physically capable of being able to do this correctly, of being able to do this. I don't see it. I just flat out do not see him being able to represent us for another 4 years. And keep in mind, folks, this is dementia, all right? He is going to go through this again. All right, I need you to understand this. He is going to do this again. He is getting worse. He's going to continue to get worse. When someone's dealing with dementia, they may have a few moments of clarity from time to time. But for the most part, when they start on that downhill, right? When they hit a plateau, it's a plateau. They don't go back up. They hit a plateau, and they may be on that plateau for a little while. But generally, the next move that they make is going to be a decline. He's going to get worse. And he's already markedly worse than he was just 2 years ago, let alone when he was running. What do you think he is going to be like 3 years from now? 2 years from now? How about just 2 years from now? I mean, keep in mind, the work that he's doing, it's the most stressful work that anybody could do. You are almost on 24/7. You are making decisions that are consequential to millions of people. And literally, in many cases, is going to cost thousands of lives on a daily basis. Is that really where we want to put someone who's demonstrating right now the level of cognitive decline that Joe Biden is showing? I mean, in my opinion, that's elder abuse. Let me ask you this. Would you let Joe Biden run your business? No, you wouldn't. Come on now. If you are a business owner right now out there, let me ask you. If you're a business owner, would you let him run your business? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't let him run your lemonade stand, let alone run your business, let alone run your country. But some of y'all are going to vote for him, ain't you? Yes, you are. Folks, somebody's got to say something. Somebody's got to take Grandpa's keys away. Part of me's hoping that they don't, because honestly, and this is for real, the potential Democratic nominee for the presidents, right? Democratic nominee who has the greatest likelihood of re-electing Donald Trump, it's Joe Biden. I mean, he says that he initially had to run because he felt that he was the only person that could beat that could beat Donald Trump. He said that's why he initially ran. Well, guess what? Now, if he really wants to see Donald Trump lose, and I heard someone say this morning, and I happen to agree with them, if he really believes that he wants to help Donald Trump lose, or help make sure Donald Trump loses, Joe Biden needs to drop out of the race. Because almost anyone, I don't believe anyone on the Democratic side will be able to beat him. But anyone on the Democratic side will have a better shot than Joe Biden. Because who are you going to point to? Name one Democrat that doesn't support all of the things that Joe Biden has done. Because keep in mind, Joe Biden ain't doing it. He's not the one making these decisions. These are Democrats. These are Democrat leaderships. These are hardcore Democrat, liberal, left-wing, progressive, neo-Marxist values that are being instituted by this president. And they are not ashamed of them at all. They fully believe in what it is that they're doing. So why would they change their mind? Why would they all of a sudden pull out and say, we're going to do something different? Well, they should do it because it'll increase the likelihood of them having an opportunity to win. But I doubt they will. I doubt they will because, quite frankly, they can't help themselves. They flat out cannot help themselves. So, anyway, it'll be interesting. Once again, I'm looking forward to these debates. And I'm looking forward to the debates, not because I believe anything particularly any particular revelations are going to happen or because it's going to be a slugfest. I believe it is going to be a dumpster fire. And the only question is Donald Trump going to do like he did in the first debate last time and assist Joe Biden in getting out of the dumpster fire in one piece? And I'll continue to say it. Donald Trump helped him. He sure did. All he had to do was just not interrupt and let Joe Biden continue to sink himself. I'm hoping he's learned. Can't say that he has, but I'm hoping that he has. This election, understand this. It is Donald Trump's election to lose. Here, I'll tell you why. Because whoever going into an election, whoever is playing defense is losing. Whoever is on offense is winning, right? There is not a single state that Joe Biden lost in 2020 that he has even a snowball's chance of winning in 2024. Not one, not a single one. In fact, he is going out of his way to try and shore up his base. He's playing defense, right? All of this flip-flopping on trying to be on both sides of the war in Gaza, that's because he's trying to get those young voters and those Michigan Muslim voters, right, that voted for him last time. The whole going over to Howard or speaking at the NAACP convention and doing as much as he can possibly do to pander and lie about history, basically try to convince them that Republicans are going to reinstitute slavery if Donald Trump is elected president. He might as well have just said that. The reason why he's doing it is because he's got to shore up his base. He's playing defense. Meanwhile, in all of the swing states except for Wisconsin, Donald Trump is ahead. And in some of them, he's way ahead. Even in the states that he lost. There are even states where the Democrat candidate for Senate is beating the Republican, but Donald Trump is beating Joe Biden. Who's playing defense? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. This election is Donald Trump's to lose. All he has to do is just keep pointing at Joe Biden. Keep pointing at the Democrats and say they did this. Right? The crisis at the border, they did this. Inflation, they did this. Crime spree, they did this. Gas prices, they did this. I mean, it's all the result of their policies. All of it. It ain't rocket science. I'm just hoping that, but once again, I'll say this. If he makes it about him, if he makes it about the you don't need Donald Trump. Let me just, if Donald Trump, if you're listening, let me tell you something. You don't need to talk about how unfair what they're doing to you is, because we all see it. Everybody sees it, right? Everybody sees. If you feel a need to say something, just drop a quick word, quick mention about it, but then focus on the other stuff that they're doing. Because instead of focusing on what they're doing to you, focus on what they're doing to the country. Right? You can use it as a leader. If they can screw me, Donald Trump, what do you think they're going to do to you? I got some examples of what they're doing, because they're doing it to you right now. But focus on what it is. Focus on the people, not on you. If you do that, trust me, you don't need my advice because you're winning already. I'm just saying, don't do the opposite of what I'm saying. How about that? Because that's the only way you lose. And even then, you may not lose. So if I'm being 100% honest, even then, you probably don't lose. Anyway. Okay, this is an interesting one. Gen Z versus boomers, a generational values gap. Folks, and it is jarring. It is jarring, the difference between the boomers, and I'm not a boomer, I am a millennial. My kids, both of my kids are both Gen Xers. So we're a little closer let me clarify. With my kids, our values are like this. So, that's because I understand the role of a parent. That is to brainwash your kids. Get all that stinking thinking out. But anyway, this is a story that is being reported over there at Axios, of all places. Axios talking about the values. And it's kind of interesting because they're talking about it, I think, from a different perspective, though. It says, jarring generation gap. America is divided on values, economics, and politics. Now, let's just be real with you. Values, economics, based on values. Politics should be based on values. That, once again, one of the fundamental differences between myself and those on the right and those on the left, or at least those at Axios. From values to voting to business to economics, America has more than a red-blue divide. It has a massive generational divide. Why? Well, why it matters. If you're trying to run a successful organization or sell a product or service, you'd better understand these nuances. Zoom in. In his 6-chart Sunday letter, Washington strategist Bruce Melman spells out the startling differences that have emerged between older and younger generation across a striking array of topics. So, for example, when it comes to patriotism, 76% of boomers consider themselves patriotic, 32% of Gen Zers. 65% of boomers consider themselves to be it's important to have a belief in God. Only 26% of Gen Zers. 52% of boomers baby boomers believe it's important to have children. Having children is an important part of life. Only 23% of Gen Zers. And then finally, you have America is the best place to live. 66% of boomers and 33% of Gen Zers. It says here, members of Gen Z are less than half as likely as baby boomers to say patriotism, belief in God, or having children are very important, according to a recent public opinion strategies poll, key data by generation. Another Zoomer quality, believing in America is the best place to live, or casualty. I'm sorry. Oh, here we go. Economics. Americans 18 to 29 are more likely to say they have a positive impression of socialism, 44%, than capitalism, 40%, a 2022 Pew poll found. Just 28% of seniors view socialism favorably. Political parties, millennials, and members of Gen Z are twice as likely to consider themselves political independents, 52%, as the oldest generation of Americans, 26%, according to Gallup data. See here, share of people who say they sympathize more with Israel or Palestine. Overall, 16%, Israel, 31%. Now, when you break it down by age, check it out. 18 to 29, only 14% sympathize with Israel. And notice how it becomes inverted, right? The older you get, the more you recognize that the more you sympathize with Israel over Palestine. Now, there's one thing I think that in this particular thing that they don't take into account. There's a reason why there's this difference. And some of that, quite frankly, has to do with age and wisdom. Generally, wisdom comes with age. Why does it come with age? Because it tends to come with experience. Younger people who you recognize who are wiser, who tend to be wiser, not just smarter, right, but wiser, it tends to be because, they learned, or they're willing to learn from the experiences of others, in particular of others who've been around longer than they have. They're more willing to look at facts and data in order to they recognize that the best way to learn about the future is to learn from the past. You know that saying, those who do not learn history are doomed to repeat it. So I think that's part of the problem here when you look at that generational gap, because I would say you could have said the same thing about the difference between between boomers and millennials not that long ago. Anyway, I think it's important, folks, and here's the thing, I'm just going to say, one of the most important things you will do as a parent is to pass on an inheritance. And when I call it inheritance, I'm not talking about financial resources. I'm talking about inheritance of your values, right? Living and walking your values, making sure that your children understand what you believe and why you believe it, right? Making sure that they are partaking in and understanding for lack of a better term, that they're participating in the brainwashing, right? That you're brainwashing. That's what your job. Your job is to indoctrinate them into the values that have made this country great. If the school, if entertainment, if media has a greater influence over your children than you do, then I'm questioning your job as a parent. I'm questioning, what are you doing as a parent? How are you instilling values? What are you doing to actively, not passively, but actively instill values into your kids, right? That's what you should be doing. If you are not doing that, then you are withholding the most important part of the inheritance that quite frankly, we owe our children, that we owe the next generation. So if you're not brainwashing your kids, get on it. Grandparents, if you're not brainwashing your grandkids, let me tell you right now, my grandbaby Jane already knows, right? She already knows the difference between boys and girls, right? She already knows that America is the greatest place to live, right? She already knows these things. She knows that God is great. She knows the importance of knowing who Jesus is. And she's 5 years old. We're just starting out. We're going to continue to do it. So that when she goes to school, right, and they try to tell her something different, she's going to know the difference. Folks, we are raising children in an era of dragons. Well, damn it, hell, you better be raising dragon slayers. Just saying. All right, folks. Well, hey, it is now time for our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Make sure you use discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces. Get your Hog Holster today. Let's see here. Now, yesterday we were talking about the whole incident, whether or not he was killed in a plane crash, in an helicopter crash, or insinuating that he might have been murdered. Well, then, according to the Babylon Bee, this news came out. It says Jews announced that they have developed a terraforming machine that can, say, quickly build a mountain in front of a flying helicopter. Remember, this is from the Babylon Bee. It is a satire website, so for all those of you who are offended, sorry. And then, as once again, as the folks at the as folks internationally were offering their condolences for the death of the mass murderer that was the president of Iran, they also decided to take a moment out. Once again, according to the Babylon Bee, UN observes moment of silence for the 9/11 hijackers. Interesting to say the least. But it's not lost in the death, and actually what has happened is not lost on the Iranian people. In fact, they've decided they are in mourning of their own. Or, as the Iranian government has claimed, people dancing in the streets is part of the mourning process. That's right, that is according to, once again, the Babylon Bee, fake news that you can believe in. How about that? Good folks. I love the Babylon Bee. All right, folks. That now brings us to the end of the show. And you know how it goes. But before we go, we've got to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. We can start with Hitman Industries. Rifle and pistol length barrels available for you today at hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly. If you want to be a part of California's future today, join CRA. Then we've got Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces, and get your hog holster today. And then you've also got uscombatgear.com, where you can get all things but the gun. All right, folks, that's going to be it for today. Apologize for the raspy voice, but I'm going to get over this thing, whatever it is, one of these days. But until then, y'all have fun. Enjoy your weekend. And it's not the weekend. Oh, tomorrow's hump day. And I'm already ready for the weekend. You can tell how my week's going on. Anyway, you folks take care. We'll be back tomorrow. Holler at you later.